And just when you thought the Warriors had finally turned a corner, we get hit with this. Jimmy Butler tears his ACL and is out for the season. I don't even know what to say, man. Steve Kerr finally stopped being so stubborn, changed up his game plan a bit, like the entire fan base has been asking for. Stop playing all these guards in the same lineup. Stop doing 4 guard lineups. Stop playing undersized players out of position. And he finally did that. Guy Santos came in, made his mark straight away. Melton, after a slow start to his season, he's been one of the best bench players in the league over the last month easily. For the first time since the championship year, the Warriors were actually making a push for a top 6 seed before the All-Star break, not leaving it until late after the All-Star break when all the other teams have already gapped you. So the team had been on a good run, winning 9 of 12, and despite the Kuminga saga, it didn't really affect the team. Everything was going well, and then Jimmy Butler tears his ACL, which is just a shame because Jimmy Butler is your second best player by a long shot. You don't have any consistent scoring outside of Steph now. And Jimmy was also having a good year, averaging 20 points a game, not just on the points tally. He was doing it in other aspects as well. His playmaking, his mentality, his tenacity, his ability to get to the line, his willingness to compete with the very best night in, night out, so that's... Even though the guy's in his mid-30s, you just don't have another player like that. Draymond, man, I don't even want to get started on Draymond. So yeah, this is just, now the Warriors are in a hole that I don't know how they get out of this. Front office have been so timid, so passive. Every off season they talk about trades, improving this, that, and we just get role players. Jimmy Butler, we got Jimmy Butler because no one wanted him, not because the Warriors actually went out there and started scouting talent. We got Jimmy Butler because Miami didn't want to pay him, and he was a good pickup. But I don't know how the Warriors get out of this. What does Dunleavy do? Because at the moment you're still firmly in a play-in position, but can you get a top 6 seed with this current roster? Steph doing all the heavy lifting. The guy's almost 40, man. You can't expect that from him night in, night out. Everyone's putting their stars first and getting them help, and I don't know why this organization just doesn't seem to trust Steph Curry. This guy has proven it time and time again that he is one of the best players in the league. He's starting in the All-Star game, and now you got the whole Kuminga saga. How are you going to navigate that? I wouldn't be mad at Kuminga if he just says, nah, I'm not going to play. I don't care. I'm just going to sit here on the bench. Obviously, being a Warriors fan, I would want him to play, but not being a fan of Steve Kerr, I would say don't play. And even if you get Kuminga back on board, what's it going to look like? Is he going to gel with the team? Is he going to have issues with the schemes? Is he going to have issues with the chemistry? It's just a lot of questions to be answered. And where does that leave Steph Curry? 38 years old. You're going to need him to average 30 a night, probably play back-to-backs as well. Today's the first game without Jimmy Butler. They play Toronto. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, it's looking long from here. All the trades that were being talked about before the Butler injury, they don't really make sense anymore, because Michael Porter Jr. would have been a piece that really completes Steph and Jimmy and makes it like a big 3 trio where you're getting high-level attacking output. Especially the gravity of MPJ's shooting alleviates that pressure off Jimmy, and obviously Steph's gravity is second to none, so teams are always going to follow him around. But now with Jimmy out, you lose that playmaking ability, and you just lose a whole lot of leadership, tenacity, effort. You just lose a lot, man. Even if you try to trade Jimmy Butler, not many teams are going to be interested in picking up a 35-year-old guy with an ACL injury who's going to sit out all of this year and potentially even eat into next year. And the teams aren't going easy on you. They still remember those days where you were dominating the league, so they're not going to give you an easy out, Or there's an other option of tanking. You could just tank and see where that takes you, but I don't know, man. It just seems like we're going to be in that situation of the 2021 season where Steph is forced to do all the heavy lifting. You make the play-in and then you can't go any further. And then there's people out here talking about some trade Steph Curry and see what you get back. Hey, if you trade Steph Curry, you ain't getting nothing. This franchise is going back to what it was in 2010. We're not at that level to think of even think about trading Steph Curry. We're not at that level to even think about, even entertain the thought of trading Steph Curry. This guy is what brings people through the gates week in, week out, night in, night out. You trade Steph, I don't know what happens. That Chase Center is going to be empty with a capital E. I mean, you could try swing big, but I don't know. Giannis. So we'll just wait and see how we go, I guess.